welcome back to GTI TV. I am your host, Katherine Fulner, and with me is Shamoon, a day trader. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And welcome to GTI. We're so excited to have you with us.
I'm very excited to be part of the program too.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about how you got involved with all of this.
So I was at a networking event that I started with CBNA, and...
Oh, you started it with them?
No, I was in it. I started in it.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. And then miraculously I found your father talking, and then I went and approached him and started talking to him about stuff, and it's history from there.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we'd love to have you on the show, talk, and we'll tell you about what's going on. And I was like, all right, I'm really interested, and I really like what he told me about the program and what you guys do for people and the younger youth. So it really caught my attention, and it drove me to want to help them in becoming financial literate on what they could do as a young and build it up to when they grow up and are financially free.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of do that on your own already.
Yes.
A lot of that, right? Tell me about that and kind of what you do to give back.
So I basically, I have my own group chat on Facebook. We talk about, I update everyone on there about the markets and everything. And it's like a one-time payment, but other than that, I help them with everything they need. Even if they do trading, if they need help, I help them. I call them, or I have people I meet up with outside, at a coffee shop, and we talk about what they need help with and build a strategy for them. And I don't ask for anything from that. I just do it because I want to help them.
Yeah.
So if there's people I can help and want to learn and have the drive for it, I'm there.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's very awesome. What made you want to get into day trading specifically? Because there's so many different things that you can do, and that's such an interesting avenue, and you've obviously been extremely successful at it, so you chose the right field. But
so I was in college it was like 2017 or 18, something like that. And my friend was doing day trading himself. I didn't know nothing about that. I was just doing shares and stock, and that's it. But he showed me the aspect of options and contracts and different parts of the market that no one really does. And I was like, I want to learn this.
Yeah.
So I went home, I looked up videos, I read some books, finance books and financial books, and I did my own studying on it, on everything, took notes, and then I started dabbling in it, and then I made some good hits, and then I lost some, and then I started finding mentors that I could listen to and learn from. And those mentors that I listened to really helped me become a better trader as a whole. And from then on, I just kept developing and dabbing into a different atmosphere from there. So it was a complicated situation in the beginning because you don't know much when you're younger, but once you get into it and start learning it and get more excited about it, it becomes easier.
It seems like it would be something kind of stressful. Because anything involving money there's a lot on the line, right? We were kind of talking about that a little bit earlier. If you are born into money and it seems like there's endless amounts of it, then it's not as much pressure. But if you're building it yourself, it seems like a lot of pressure. How do you take the emotion out of that and kind of follow the rules that you were telling us about earlier?
So I watched my friend trade, and I saw how he got, and I was like, that's not going to be me. So I basically was like, okay, what can
Did it not work out well for him? Or?
Well, I mean, there was some days that he didn't work out for him.
Okay.
So it was like, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake he's making. So I took it as him as an example, and then I went to myself. I was like, okay, what can I do to be a good trader where I don't have that type of situation? So I traded small, not a lot, a few bucks here and there. I was willing to lose, to learn. And I saw, I lost it. I was like, okay, next. I wrote down what I lost and how much percentage-wise I lost and what I could do next to not have that same situation happen again.
Nice.
So I kept digging and doing more research, and once I grasped proper research tools that I could use to dictate my plays, my trading skills, I was like, okay, I got everything I need. Now I'm gonna go back into the market and play with more money and try again, but not make the same mistakes.
And did you know that you wanted to do this professionally?
Well, I saw how cool it looked on that, and my friend did it. I was like, all right, I want to do it now. So
okay.
I was hooked at that point, and then from there, I was already into the stock market, but I didn't do the different variables that were available.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about different variables, as you say. So someone who doesn't have a lot of knowledge, right? Information, brand new to this entire conversation. What would you say are like the basic pinpoints that you would need to know?
Well, if you're doing day trading options, that's like the more advanced part of the market. It's
And
like,
explain that. What are
so option is when you buy a contract of a stock or ETF, and you're buying 100 shares at a premium. So when you buy a premium, like say, it's more expensive than the stock too sometimes, because you're making, it's a higher risk and higher reward.
Okay.
Right? And these contracts have time decay, so they expire at a certain date.
Okay.
So you have to be very cautious of when you buy. It's all about timing. So you have to be very cautious of when you buy it, how long you're gonna hold it, and what's your, strategy on that. Because
So what happens if the time runs out?
you lose all your money
Really?
if you don't hit your quota. So like say for example, you buy a stock at $100, right? The option you buy is $100 strike. So you want the stock to hit $100.
Okay.
So if it hits $100 and it goes over it, you're making 10 times the money on top of it. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to be very.
So lots of upside.
Right. Yes. Very, very, very lot of upside.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to be very cautious, because if it decays, and it goes to expiration day and you didn't hit your quota, you lose all your money. It's just worthless. So you have.
And there's not an option to sell it?
There's an option to sell it. You can sell it early.
And take a loss?
Like a small loss.
That would be, okay.
Yes, you can do that too. But if you really think you're gonna wait and see it goes up and has like a great earnings report or something to make it go up a lot, or some good news, but it's like a learning curve on that too. But
Okay.
yeah, so that's why you have to be very careful with options. They're very risky. Not recommended if you don't know what you're doing, 100%, because you can lose a lot of money in like a flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does everyone have that at their disposal? Like, can anyone buy options?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Anyone could sign up for it with like their brokerage accounts, but at the same time, you have to put like a certain your information, and they dictate what level of trading you could do.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you have options, and
Yes,
what
I do.
else?
I do leverage trading also.
Okay.
And I do derivatives market as well.
Tell me about that.
So crypto is with like the derivatives. So I do leverage trading with them, and you could trade like these ones are very unique because they don't have time decay.
Okay.
So these ones are.
I like that. I don't like
yeah.
the being pinned down.
Yeah. So no, well, you could buy like long-term, like 1 year out contracts on the stock
Okay.
market, but those are very expensive. You gotta be like a rich person for those.
Okay, because in my head I'm thinking like, oh, a couple days.
Couple days, or yeah, it could be a little bit, like maybe $100, $200.
Okay.
Depending on how much the stock is, because the expensive the stock, the more expensive the contracts are too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
So when it comes down to leverage trading, you have your money that you're available to use, but you're using margin as well. So margin is when it's not your money, but you're using their money as leverage, but they don't take a lot of your own money. So say for example, you have $1,000 and you buy a position for $500, and you only use $10 of your money as the collateral, and you have a liquidation set. So if you have a lot of money, it could be $0. But if you don't have a lot of money in your account, your liquidation would be close to where the value of the coin is. So say you buy a contract at $2, and your liquidation is at $198. And if you hit $198, you lose all your money. But if you have a lot of money in your account, it won't get liquidated at all. So it's complicated as it sounds, but once you start like learning the basics of them, it gets a little bit easier.
Well, so I've always thought of the stock market kind of like a game. Like once you kind of learn the patterns of it, the rules of it, and it's all about predictability, right? Like if you're playing football, you're trying to predict what the other team's plays are going to be, right? You're studying film to see, okay, when they get into this formation, this is what they're going to do. So how do we anticipate that? And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, so this is the pattern that it's been. How am I going to act to try to benefit the most from what I think it's going to be doing? Would you agree with that?
It's a yes and no, because for yes, it's yes, you were right on the aspect of patterns, but at the same time, like stocks, it's a different beast, because there's news that comes out, like headlines come out the same day or in the next day, and you have to be very cautious of what the geopolitical things are happening that's gonna revolve around the stock market that's could push it up, push it lower. So you have to be very cautious of what's gonna happen the next day, the tonight, like anything.
Yeah.
Like right now, if you have a narrative that you're 100% with, that you know is gonna happen, tomorrow could be nothing. It could be different, changed because of data, because data changes every day. So when it comes down to the stock market, you have to be very flexible with the data. You have to be very knowledgeable what's happening, what's gonna dictate the next movement of the market.
So how do you know with that? Because there's so much information, especially today. I mean, you can look up anything, and so how do you know what to pay attention to?
Usually, I look at geopolitical things, like when it comes down to precious metals. You look at the dollar. If the dollar goes down, precious metals usually go higher, right?
Okay.
So you have to look at what the cycle is at. There's cycles that happen throughout the year, throughout multiple years. And right now we're at a cycle where war, as they call it, and usually that's when oil goes higher or precious metals go higher because everybody's scared of the collapse of the dollar or the economy. So they go to a hedge. So you have to look at what happens around the world. Sometimes you look at headlines, there's multiple resources that have really good headlines you can read, but you have to pay for some of them. But some of them are free too. Yeah. So you can do
I know, I always get that you click on something and it's to view this article.
Yeah. But there's a handful of good articles, like a Motley Fool, they give you information, or Finviz, they give you good information on stocks.
Finviz, okay.
Yeah, Finviz, you could put in the ticker symbol of a stock, and it gives you every data you want, new headlines or what their PE ratios are, how their performance is.
Okay.
Of earnings.
Okay.
So you can find a lot of information on Finviz as well.
Okay, awesome. So what would you suggest if someone wants to get into day trading, but obviously, you're very advanced, you kind of know everything that there is to know. So what would you suggest for someone just starting out to get started?
I recommend them to first have goals of what they want to do, how much do you want to start with, where do you want to be short term, long term, and midterm. Because if you don't have a goal and discipline, you're not gonna grow and become a better trader.
Right.
So it's better to have a goal, know where you're gonna begin, and then if you do mess up, learn from your mistake, and then never make that mistake again.
Yeah.
And move forward. So that would be first. Second would be to have multiple accounts, one for fun, and then two for short and long term.
Okay.
And then once they do that, they can start doing paper trade. Yeah. They can do paper trade too. That would be a nice simulator.
You were saying that. Yeah. Okay.
So they could do that as the beginning stage. And then once they're confident enough to trade, they could go into their fun account and play with the fun account a little bit and see where they go from there.
Okay. And so with that, if they want to start with the fun account, what would you suggest they start to get into? Are there more simple ways to trade, if you will, because we were talking about options and it gets more complex and all. So are there more kind of beginner level ways to get started?
You could do tech stocks. The tech stocks are easier to work with because they're the top notch people. Everybody's trading it. There's more volatility in it, so it'll be a better chance to make money on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Would you recommend people getting into day trading?
I only recommend it if people are going to have the discipline to learn how to be a good trader and not give up. Because if you give up and say you lost all your money without trying, you have to put the work in it. It's not going to be an easy win all the time. You have to put hard work and sweat and just keep going. And
I think that's the misconception. People see, it's an easy way to make money.
It's not.
Yeah. Well, and you have used the word discipline today, just as we've been talking, several different times. So it really does, you have to stay on it and you have to be accountable to yourself. And just you have your rules that you follow. And it's interesting because talking to you, I have a completely different concept of what someone like you would do that, I think of, you're just kind of messing around and, playing on your computer. And it seems like it's completely different. It's very methodical. It's very strategic. It's very, planned out, and it's not necessarily, oh, you're making, 5 trades in a day and then selling and doing it. It's very, it varies, based on that. Yeah.
And you don't have to trade every day either, at all. You could trade once a day, if you're confident in your trade, you could trade whenever you feel like. But if you lose and you don't want to go anywhere else from that, then you could just take the rest of the day off and relax and unwind.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say if you were to leave like a parting note of financial advice, just overall? What would that be to someone?
To never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
That's
because
beautiful.
if you give up, you're gonna leave a lot of things on the table. Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and being a part of GTI. Make sure you follow us and share, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.